In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I built a seven-figure rental car business all off of vehicles that I got with zero money down. All right, so we're going to first start with this process of how to get cars with zero money down, and not only that, but profiting with cars with zero money down up front. Now, before I start this video, I want to let y'all know that you don't have to put any money down and for any vehicle unless it's like a high-end high luxury vehicle or like a supercar or something like that. Necessarily for a normal vehicle just to get around, putting money down has never been a factor unless you have bad credit. If you have bad credit, then you're going to be struggling with zero money down. But if you don't have any money down and you have great credit and built credit, then that is your entryway to zero money down. But I'm going to break it down right here for you guys. So the first thing you have to do in order to get cars with zero money down is build your credit, right? Like I said, building your credit is basically going to give you the option to be free and not put anything down on a vehicle, which you shouldn't anyways, right? You just shouldn't have to. So what I recommend you to add, I don't know what just happened to my screen. So I am going to back out. Okay, cool. So building your credit consists of, these are just a few accounts that I recommend y'all start with if you're like young or don't have anything on your credit report. Go ahead and get a Discover It Secure credit card. And like I said, this is if you have no money on, or not if you have nothing on your credit report, basically. So the Discover It Secure credit card is basically when you give Discover, let's say $200, they're going to give you a $200 limit back in the credit card form. Now, that bank will be holding your $200 and you have a $200 spending limit on your credit card. And if you default or don't pay anything back on that credit card, whenever you swipe and use it, they're going to take out of your $200 balance. And you're basically going to show the bank that you can't be trusted. So let's say you do treat that card good for a 6-month time frame. They're then going to refund your $200 back and unsecure your Discover It Secure credit card. So that's a secure credit card that I always recommend beginners to start with. Next is Navy Federal. Get a relationship with Navy Federal and Bank of America because those are major key factors or major key players in the rental car business space whenever it comes to refinancing vehicles or getting vehicles in general from the front end of just getting vehicles in the personal name. So you can do a Navy Federal pledge loan. I don't know why my screen keeps doing this. You can get a Navy Federal pledge loan and secured, and that pledge loan is basically the same thing as a secured Discover card. So pretty much the same thing, but in a loan form. Next, you want to have a minimum of 5 accounts reporting to your credit report. 5 accounts, and I'll break that down. This Discover, my screen is completely tweaking. I don't know why it's doing that. But Discover It Secure, that's 1 account. Navy Federal Pledge Loan, that's 2 accounts, right? Now, like I said, you want to have 5 on your credit report. Next, you want to finance economy cars. We're not going to go get Mercedes and BMWs with zero money down. It doesn't work like that. If you do that, they're going to ask for money down. Those are more risk when it comes to banks lending to younger people or anybody with bad or no credit. You're going to be a risk factor. So if you are trying to get a luxury car, they're going to ask for money down. Now, we're talking about economy cars. Starting an economy rental car fleet, you're going to need $0 down, and that's to finance economy vehicle. Right now, before purchasing a vehicle, make sure you're purchasing correctly. Make sure you have like little to no negative equity. That way you're able to trade in and move tiers pretty freely. And I have multiple videos, like free videos on my Instagram and stuff like that, every other CEO that talks about negative equity. But avoid negative equity at all costs. And like I said, go to my Instagram or something and go look at those videos to avoid negative equity. Negative equity will prevent you from moving from car to car, and it will prevent you from profiting in the rental car space. And that's the whole point of this video, is how to profit in the rental car space. Now, another factor is choosing the right cars. I usually stick to Toyota Camrys or Toyota Prius. I like Toyota. I'm pretty biased because that's all I started with in the beginning. But Toyotas are luxury and they're very, very affordable and like good on maintenance and stuff like that. Nissan Kia, all these other brands, they might look good, but they lack on the durability. Like Kias get stolen pretty easily. They look decent, but depending on the person, they look decent, but at the same time, they kind of aren't good on the side of durability. So, like I said, Toyota is my personal favorite. So I stick with Toyota Camry and Toyota Prius. And I've used those cars before. So I kind of know the numbers and the market for those type of vehicles. Like I said, $0 down on an economy vehicle if your credit is built correctly. The next two things y'all guys want to worry about is the interest rate. Your interest rate should be 3 to 6% to see good profits, to see great profits. Anything above that, you'll see good to bad profits. Never buy a car if you have a bad deal with more than, I would say, 8% interest. Anything 8% interest and above is not a good deal. Like, just leave that deal alone, even if you're approved, because you're going to be paying a lot of that car note in interest, right? The car note is going to be mostly interest and not even towards the vehicle amount. And that's how you get in more negative equity, which is what I told y'all not to get into and what to avoid. So next, the dealership will most likely to try to get you to put money down. If you know your credit is built enough to not put any money down, I would say you don't need to put money down. Now, there are some cases where you get approved from a bank that would say, hey, you need to put X amount down. If you go directly to your bank, let's say maybe Federal Bank of America, let's say they say, okay, you have to put money down to get a vehicle at this dealership, then okay, go ahead and do that. But if you go straight to the dealership and apply at a dealership, they're going to run your credit everywhere. And then that's going to give them a chance. That's going to give the dealership a chance to add interest rate on top of that vehicle loan. I don't know if y'all know, but dealerships can add their own interest rates on top of getting you approved with their lenders. All right. So a lender from a dealership could be Chase. Chase could give you an 8% interest rate. The dealership can throw on an extra 1% interest on that vehicle if they wanted to for getting you approved for that car. And Chase might say, hey, you need to put $1,000 down. The dealership might come back and say, hey, you need to put $3,000 down. How much is the dealership making in profit? The dealership is making $2,000 in profit because Chase is only looking for $1,000. So you just have to understand that, and you might have to replay this video to understand, to pick up what I'm putting down at the end of the day. Hope y'all caught that. So we're going to move on to the next, right? Now, we're at economy vehicles. I started with economy and I scaled up all the way to Lamborghinis and all the exotic cars. I personally drive a R8, Audi R8, and a Trackhawk. So I always started with like Toyota Camrys and Toyota Prius. If y'all go to my Instagram, y'all will see like my whole journey from bottom to top, like to where I am now. And all I did was trade in cars. I traded in cars when I felt like the time was right. I always kept the car at least 6 months so it could be built on my credit report with the history. But for the most part, yeah, that's what I did. I was just trading in cars every 6 months, depending on the negative equity. If I had a little bit more negative equity, I might keep the car a little bit longer and try to pay that negative equity off. But other than that, I was trading in those cars. And I also have a ton of videos on my Instagram and TikTok, other social medias on how to get rid of negative equity if the car is doing bad on your rental car fleet. Next, we have tiers of cars. You have to understand that there are tier of cars. You got $20,000 cars, $40,000, $60,000, $80,000. So let's say I started with a Toyota Camry. A Toyota Camry might start at $20,000. You take that Camry and trade it in for a $40,000 Audi or BMW or whatever the case is. Then you take that BMW and trade it in for a competition, right? You got a regular BMW, let's say a 330i. Then you take that and trade it in for a BMW, let's say M4, right? Which would be around 60 to 80K, right? Depending on the mileage and the year, all of that extra stuff. Then you take that M4 competition and trade it in for a GLE, 80K, right? So that's how you move tiers, right? And you don't have to put anything down between these two or between these 4 tiers of cars because you're moving tiers. Now, let's say if you skip from 20K to 60K, of course, you're going to have to put money down. That's basically what I did to get from Trackhawk to the R8, and from my Infinity truck that I had, which was around 50K, to my Trackhawk, which was 100K, I had to put some money down. But if you want to skip the line, you got to pay to play, right? Same thing with mentors and stuff like that. You got to pay to skip the line. Cool. And it's the same process with cars. Money talk. Now, this is how you scale and grow from saturation in the economy car space. So there's thousands of economy cars out there, and it's no such thing as saturation if your marketing is good. But at the end of the day, there are more economy cars than there are luxury cars. So you want to separate yourself in the marketplace by going from economy cars to luxury cars to high level luxury cars like Maybachs and stuff like that, and then the supercars like Lamborghini Urus, Lamborghini Huracan, etc. So the trade-in method is basically going to get you from tier to tier to tier, and get you slowly and slowly and slowly away from economy cars. Now, when it comes to marketing, you can use Facebook Marketplace to start off. And this is just some beginner information. Like, you can use Facebook Marketplace and you can use your network. Networking is probably the best way to, build up a rental car fleet, is personal networking and social media content and personal branding content. Other than that, if you're not on social media, I usually tell my students don't even have a business, because if you pay attention to all of these businesses out here that don't have any social media presence, 9 times out of 10 they're falling off, unless they have major investors, or they're like a stock company or a brokerage or real estate or something like that. But anything that's like any small business, especially, you're going to need social media if you're not touching millions already. You're not using money to make money. We need to make money without putting money into the marketplace. So it's like, why would you pay for ads if you're not making any money? Same thing with this. Why are you paying for publicity, or why are you paying for ads if your cars aren't even getting rented? You have to rent your cars out the cheapest way possible, which is social media. Social media is the cheapest way to rent out a vehicle, right? So why not rent out that vehicle and use social media as your platform? Turo is dead, which is good. That's another topic I want to hit on. Turo is super dead. Some vehicles, I heard, like Teslas, I don't use Turo anymore, but I heard Teslas do good on Turo. So you could probably rent out a Tesla on Turo, but anything else, chop, gone, dead. Don't even use it. You could test it, but it doesn't work. But the best process for beginners is Facebook Marketplace, social media content, and personal branding. Now, if y'all like this video, go ahead and let me know down below. And this is a video that I made from a comment in my last video. Somebody told me to make a video on how to get cars with zero money down. So this video is for you, my boy. Whoever made that comment, make sure y'all comment down below and let me know what y'all want to see next. Make sure y'all watch the vlogs. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at BRTheCEO and TikTok at BRTheCEO. And I will catch y'all in the next video.